Hello, I'm Dr. Lou D'Amico, and I want to welcome you to this meeting of the minds today between myself and one of my best friends and colleagues, Dr. Francis Murphy. And we're sitting here behind the beautiful Dallas skyline backdrop on a beautiful Saturday morning. And so I want to welcome you to a discussion that we're going to have. And before we get into it, I'll just give you a little backstory about me. I started my career back in '79 as a pharmacist. And I practiced pharmacy for about 14 years in both a retail and hospital setting. And during that time, I knew I didn't want to stay a pharmacist, but I just didn't know my career path. And I actually had taken the MedCats and did all my pre-requirements to go to medical school. And so all this evolved over a period of a few years. And during that time, I started developing this insidious kind of nagging neck pain and headache kind of thing. But I was a pharmacist. So what did I do? I took pills. And so it started to get to a point, though, where after a few months, I sought a medical evaluation. I went to an orthopedic group and was told I was having neck pain and headaches, and I was prescribed a medication for that, something called Darvocet, which has subsequently been taken off the market, but it worked. When I took it, my headache went away, and so I was happy. But in the end, I still kept having these pains, and I found chiropractic. I went to a chiropractor who identified the problem and explained to me how I got it, that I was holding my head in an awkward position for hours on hours a day. And he started to treat me, and he started to show me how to do some exercises to relieve the stress off of my neck. And lo and behold, I started to feel great again. I didn't need the pain pills anymore. And so I started to think about chiropractic as a profession. And long story short, in 1992, I ended up in Dallas, Texas. And I started to attend class at Parker College, now called Parker University. And in that class was this man sitting next to me right here, Dr. Murphy. And so we became friends. You know, you're getting to meet everybody, hi, hello. And I sat in the front of the class. I'm a kind of a nerdy kind of a guy. I want to be right up front with the teacher, the professors. And I'd always look over my shoulder in the morning before class started, and there's Fran in the back holding court. You know, we had a chiropractic table in the back, and there'd be 7 or 8 or 10 people there, and he's up there palpating people and you know, adjusting people. And I'm like, how does this guy know this? He's in Tri 1. And so I made it a point, I got to get to know him better. And so we started to become friends, and there was a great synergy because he had developed these hand skills way beyond a first trimester chiropractic student. And I had 10 thumbs on my hands. And so I was watching him work, and as we got to know each other, he knew I was a pharmacist, and I had already experienced a lot of the basic science courses that we were taking initially. So they were easy for me, but for him, they were challenging. So we kind of became study buddies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great time in our lives. I look back at it as one of the most fun times in my life. Getting out of school and then headed over to your house.
And we'd spend some time in the books, and then we'd spend some time
talking,
palpation-wise. And one of the greatest things he taught me early on, and what we see a lot as we train chiropractors, are what he called soft hands. And, you know, it was very easy for me just when I put my hands on people, I'm like poking around and pushing around. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's taking my hands, whoa, 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 softer, to a point where I didn't feel like I was feeling anything. But in the end, that's when I felt everything, right? And that was huge. That was a breakthrough for me.
Your hand skills developed really quickly. And school was, for me, it was, I had already become a massage therapist before I became a chiropractor. And I really wanted to know if I liked working on people, if I liked putting my hands on people for a living. And I started learning things about the human body I never knew before. And so it just kind of, it was the profession that was waiting there for me. It was almost as though I just needed to find it. I didn't know it was there. And when I found chiropractic, I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I saw people doing things to people that seemed like miracles. And some of it was reproducible, some of it wasn't. But it was very fascinating to me. And as I began to see these miracles, I didn't know much about the nervous system or the cardiovascular system or how we digest food or anything. And, one of the main things in chiropractic school is you got to get through some courses that are literally there to weed you out. And one of them was biochemistry. It was very difficult, and it was taught by a man named Srinivasa, as I recall, and he didn't speak very good English. And I was having a really struggling with biochemistry. The rest of it, I worked my way through, but that was one I really struggled with. And I remember you telling me, no, you're overthinking this. It's not as hard as you're making it. And little by little, I would look at it, and you'd explain things to me. And finally, it all kind of galvanized. It all came together in my head all at once. It was like I knew biochemistry. I could have never got there without you. And so we had a bond there. You taught me something I was really wanted to know badly, but I wasn't getting there. And then when I finally got there, I had such huge trust in you. And it seemed like every little thing that I was sure that I knew about, I wanted to make sure you knew too, because you had given me this great thing. And so our relationship, that's where it all started. And it just grew, closer and closer over the years. We visit each other's families, and I'd come to, as his children were born, I'd come in and go to their baptisms, and they'd come back to Texas and visit me, and we had a litany of friends that we would gather together all the time. It was fantastic. And we created a new family within our families. And since then, Lou has been part of my family. I feel like I've been part of his. And we've been able to develop not only a friendship and a family-like relationship, but we also have kept the science going. And he's a highly intelligent person, a valedictorian of our class. He wouldn't say it, but he was. And he also scored higher than anybody ever scored on the national boards when we took our boards. And I knew I was really lucky to have a not only study partner, but a fellow Italian and somebody that I really resonated with. And so it just became a best friendship from the very beginning. And I went about the business of starting my own business. He went about the business of starting his own business, and we worked in different ways. He worked out of his home. I worked out of a shopping center. We both built practices that were based on different things, but we always sharing the little things that we were learning about how to make our patients better. On the phone all the time. We're always upgrading each other's knowledge, and that was something really valuable to me and to him too, because he sought it out as much as I did.